Hey everybody. What's up, man? I'm Keedren.
And I'm Katura, and we are the Bostons.
Yes.
Look, it's Sunday evening,
Yes.
our time, so we don't know what time you'll be watching this. This is the chillness
Yeah.
that you get when talking with the Bostons because this is our normal time.
Yeah.
How are y'all doing?
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I had a little freeze at the beginning. I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to this though because life life be life and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I know you hear people say that, you know. Um, but if we don't take time to um enjoy ourselves and have some fun, um, life will get the best of us. And so that's what we're going to be
absolutely.
talking about today. And then over the next few weeks, I think it'll be good for us to kind of dive into some things that um, that are important in this aspect of our lives when it comes to maybe exploring hobbies and even thinking about the things you might be interested in. Um, because I know I've had some conversations with people and asked them if they knew what they were passionate about. And a lot of times people
Do they
don't really
know?
think about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so welcome. Glad y'all are here. Thank y'all for tuning in. So while y'all are rocking with us, um, I'd like to know, like, what are some things that you're passionate about? Put that in the comments. I don't know, kind of
Yeah,
jump straight
that kind of
into
bring you
it.
some joy.
Yeah. What are some things that bring you joy? Put that in the comments for us. Let's see what that's about. But for me, I'll share after you. But what do you think? What are some things that you think that bring you joy?
And I think a lot of things. I think it just depends on the season. Like I really enjoy and have been enjoying this season, like traveling more
Mhm.
and being a part of, youth and children's ministry communities. I like
Yeah,
doing it. I like sharing. After 22 years of doing something around ministry and working with kids, when I
hmm
get to be around other people who are like-minded, I think that kind of energizes me. A
yeah,
lot of places we've gone to, though, Keedren, a lot of people tell me a lot that they don't see or hear from people that look like us
mm,
talking about children's ministry or being represented in different conferences in those spaces. And
yeah,
for some of them, sometimes those events are like the first of their kind for them.
hmm
And so seeing representation, blesses them because we have a way, the culture
yeah,
has a way of how we do things. And so
yeah.
when you get other perspectives, that just kind of enlightens you and kind of brightens up what you do. So I enjoy that. Um, but I also really enjoy listening to reggae music when I'm cooking.
Oh yeah, that's real. Yeah, you sure
It's
do.
true. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like anytime, like I have my own R&B playlist,
hmm
and sometimes when I do need to wind down, and I mean like for real wind down, like y'all. Sometimes I don't want to hear anybody. I don't want to hear from the kids. I don't want to hear TV. I don't want to hear ambient noise. I just want to put it on, and maybe I'm doing laundry, maybe I'm not. But sometimes just listening to it, it just calms me and soothes me. And there's
Yeah.
something about R&B music or reggae music. Reggae music kind of gets me hyped up. So while I'm cooking, that's kind of my thing. But just listening to my playlist,
Yeah.
different songs, they take me to different moments and times, and I just kind of chunk out, like how people are doing virtual reality. I don't have to
hmm
like leave my world to kind of go into a little calm state,
Yeah.
state of mind.
Yeah.
But what about you? I think I kind of know, but tell the people because I'm pretty
Um.
sure somebody might relate.
Yeah. So the question is, what brings you joy right now?
Yeah,
So we'd love to hear that as well. And we got a couple comments we'll pull up here in a minute. So y'all keep those coming.
yeah,
For me, it's a few things. I definitely I like I got a PlayStation 5, so I
yep.
I play the game, play the video game in 2K, NBA
Definitely knew
2K,
that about you.
uh Madden, like adventure games and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um I also love to create too. Like when it comes to um like I really enjoy creating like graphics and different things like that, especially for
You've been
even what
doing
I
that
get
a
a chance to
lot.
do for ministry, if it's personal, if it's for the family, if it's
Can't
for
share
others.
this.
It's definitely one of the things that I enjoy. I haven't done it in a while, but because it's just been so much going on.
Like
and I like to
daily
have my
model
stuff. Yeah, I like to have everything like to be able to stay in one place. I love to build model cars. And so
yeah.
I do enjoy that. That definitely brings me joy. If I can get to a place,
I like when you do those too.
you know, to break up the model cars, I paint them. I do all of that stuff like that, you know. And so that actually brings me joy too. Some peace.
So what do you do with them? Because I know like you'll do them and you'll shelf them, you know, but they'll stay built. Like you don't take them apart and throw them back in a box or anything. Like you like to keep them on display.
Yeah.
Because even behind us, we have a couple.
Yeah,
you've got a couple that when we redid the office, we kind of made sure that they were still kind of visible and stuff.
Yeah. So I definitely like to display some of those and kind of go from there. That's always cool. But yeah, and also just watching movies, like watching shows.
Yeah.
That actually gives me some peace of mind too, you know, especially if I can watch something with the family, if I can watch something with you or the kids, you know what I mean?
Preserving that time is important.
Yeah.
Like our date nights, those are fun. Because date nights, so date nights, when we think about things that bring us joy, they're not even always at night. Like we'll do breakfast, lunch, we'll do middle of the day movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place that we like to go to that has really good food in a movie theater. So watching a movie, eating, and just kind of laughing, and it's kind of our thing. We saw something together, we can talk about it, and it's just kind of an inside conversation between us. I think moments like that. I think our point is you do have to pause sometimes and ask yourself, like, in all this going and all this doing and all this serving and all this giving and all this being and lifing, are you actually having any fun?
Right.
Like, do you know in this season of your life what actually brings you joy? What centers you? What makes you happy? What makes you smile? What re-energizes you for the work ahead? Because it's really not healthy, you know, to just keep going and going and going and don't get to pause and kind of refresh. And for a long time, there was a season in my life where I stopped doing a lot of things that probably could have made me happy. I didn't even know what they were. I couldn't have answered the question. I felt like sleep was enjoyable because I was so tired. So tired. Like on the holidays, people like, what are you doing for your holidays? I'm like, I'm going to sleep.
Right.
Like I'm gonna cook on the days that, you know, we need to like have the big dinners and the meals if we're hosting and all that stuff. I'm gonna cook and do all that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I was like, sleep right now. And I was like, that's really sad. That's sad when sleep was the biggest thing bringing me joy because I was just so overwhelmed like with life. And like not everybody gets that way. There are people who can do the same things and move at the same speed that I was moving. But for me personally, I'm so intense in my thought and I'm so intense in my work. It's just a part of my personality. So just knowing that about me, I had to kind of, I guess, I don't want to say check myself, but like pause and say, well, how long can you go at that speed, you know, without being refreshed? Like, when are you going to stop? Like, you know, like when you're traveling, it's like, we got to stop for gas soon.
Right.
Or we got so many miles before we need to stop for gas. And it has nothing to do with being on empty. The idea is to prevent yourself from going on empty. Like, you don't want to actually run out of gas.
Right. No, yeah.
And then be trying to figure out where the next filling station is. Like, you want to be ahead of that. You want to know, okay, things are getting low. I need to plan out and pace out my journey so that I can refuel and fill up. And so for a long time, I couldn't answer that question. I was like, nah, it's just sleep. And that's what I became known for.
Yeah.
Like, people call, I know you were asleep. I know you missed my call because you were asleep. Man. And like the kids like, don't mess with your mom, she's asleep.
Yeah.
And the kids like, hey mom, are you woke? You sleep? I like when that becomes a theme, like you have to look at yourself. So I'm like, dang, I'm getting known for my rest.
Man, yeah. No, that's real. That's why I think it's going to be important, and I'm looking forward to this because I think over the next few topics that we'll kind of dig into this and kind of talk about things, because I think it's important to balance work and leisure time. I think it's important to
for sure
see how we can work that out, because you don't want to work yourself to death. You don't want to overwork yourself. And I think being
Facts.
able to have those moments, taking the Sabbath, you know, and being able to refresh and refuel, um, it just makes for a better life, more fulfilling life, you know.
Yeah, I think so.
Would you say it's important to plan, you know what I mean, like your fun, you know, your leisure, and
Absolutely.
you know, because everybody's not spontaneous.
Yes, and I don't
Um,
know that many of us can just truly afford to just be spontaneous.
mhm.
Um, you I think it's smart to plan. You don't have to plan and you can be spontaneous,
Yeah,
but my time, um the way my time is distributed, I can't afford with my time to just be spontaneous all the time.
yeah,
I think there's room for it to happen maybe like once or twice a week, and
yeah, yeah,
and there's a pocket of time. But I think it is important to plan, your fun. I mean, I think we plan so many things. There are things we put on the calendar that we know are coming, like birthdays or excuse me, holidays, anniversaries,
yeah,
um yeah, deadlines, big events or places where, the save the date kind of things that we have planned that we're going to. I think we plan those things and we put them on a calendar. But when it just comes to fun, or it just comes to rest, or it just comes to, your hobbies, I think you do have to be intentional. And I
yeah.
think that's where the idea of planning comes in.
Yeah.
I still have an alarm that goes off that I started when I was in education. It goes off every Friday at 4:30, and it says like stop working, family time.
Mm.
And it was to remind me, because I was staying in that building or in those buildings till 6 and 7 o'clock almost every night of the week.
Man,
And
sheesh.
on Fridays, I'm like, something has got to give. Like, I have to make a point to say I'm stopping. And so that alarm went off so many times on a Friday. And there were a couple of times I went by and I was like, okay, well, it's just 5:30. It's 5. I'm still leaving, earlier than normal. It took me a while to even acclimate myself to being like, it's okay to have a schedule. It's also okay that on our days off, that we don't have to fill them with anything else to
That's
do.
true. Yeah.
You know,
That's easy to do.
Yes, like sometimes your day off just needs to be your day off. If you don't have a day off, you need a day off. And your
Mhm.
day off can be just different from what you normally do on your other days, but you just need a day to do something different that allows you to just kind of rest and be re-energized. And then what we do, our job is largely reliant on, us having time to be in our devotions, to get in our word, to be creative, to be able to think and create and build and all of that and dream.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you don't make really good decisions, and it's hard to be really creative, when you're exhausted.
Yeah.
It's hard to be effective or efficient when you're exhausted. And so I think planning helps you be more efficient. It helps you be more effective. And I think you can be less exhausted because you need, you need to plan that. And
Yeah.
some of us need bedtimes. Some of us
Man.
need bedtimes and wake up times, like, to help us stay within, some parameters.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's real. Cause I mean, I know I, can get locked into if I'm studying for Sunday, if I'm, studying for or studying for Sunday or working on a project,
Hmm.
it's easy to get caught up and just say, I just need a little bit more, just one more, just 30 more minutes, just another hour, um, before after I'm already worked all day and then come home, let me just work on this for a little bit. And next thing I know, I'm still in it. And a lot of times, um, I can remember that when I just said, you know what, I'm going to put this down and I'll just pick it back up tomorrow. Nothing burns down, nothing is ruined, but I do have a little bit more peace of mind, and not just trying to fill up my whole day with work or just trying to finish it all right now. There are some times that we kind of press through, but I think it's definitely important to just say, you know what, let me just let this go right now,
Hmm.
but also, like you say, having those things on the calendar aside from birthdays that we know that's coming up, to say, look, I know this time right here, this Friday, we have nothing going on. I'm not putting nothing on the calendar.
Right.
I'm just open for whether we're just gonna relax or whether we go do something. But having those blackout dates, I think, is good too.
Yeah, I agree. And
I think that helps.
I think you do a pretty good job at that. Like, I don't know if that's something that you recently, made a point to like be more intentional about, like coming home and like not finishing up work and stuff like that. And I'm really trying to get there, y'all. So, you know, if y'all are listening to this, like, listen to Keedren, not me. I'm just sharing, like, I'm just sharing kind of where I'm at. But I would definitely have to say I struggle more with not finding the next thing to do. Cause like I was like, okay, true story today. And this is normal. I don't normally eat breakfast before we go to church. I normally have a cup of coffee on a Sunday, right? And today was a great day. Like our Sundays are great. I love what I get to do and how we get to serve, right? So that was great. But toward the end of the day, you know, we got out a little bit later. I started feeling a little lightheaded and I was really like trying to get to the car. And me, I have, okay, here's my problem. I try to manage my mood. I am not like naturally um incredibly tolerant after my threshold of like I need to stop here. So I'm not naturally tolerant there, and it really takes a lot for me to be like, no, it's fine, keep talking. I definitely want to stay here another hour after the 5 hours that I've been here. Like it's really hard for me to like, you know, separate that and not go into that headspace. Like I just really want to be done because I need to do something else. And today, you know, we were trying to do that. And I just love people so much. And I give people my undivided attention. And I will listen even when I know like I am an hour past my threshold because I'm naturally an introvert. Like there are moments, there's pockets and spaces that, and I don't really identify as an introvert, but if I had to choose kind of where I am, just to give you an idea, because I know that's language that most people understand. I have a certain amount of like high energy fuel back and forth exchange, and I'm good for a certain amount of time. And then, you know, I'm really ready to like not be doing that anymore. And it's really exhausting. But I enjoy what I get to do. It's not that I don't like people. I just really love and pour a lot into the time that I give. And so I was getting exhausted. I was even starting to feel lightheaded today. And I thought we were coming straight home, and then our kids wanted to go look at some model homes. And I was like, what's a nice Sunday? You know, the weather's nice. And okay, I can manage that. And so I wanted them to have that fun experience. That's something that we've done on occasion, like on a Sunday after church. We knew we had food at home. We had already shopped yesterday for it and we were ready. So I was like, okay, it'll be fine. And we go and I'm like, okay, so each house we look at, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go.
I'm losing it.
And also we just saw these same ones the day before because we took Zion. So today he wanted to take, you know, he wanted to show his sisters.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I get it. That's super sweet. So let's go. And so I'm trying to bring the same amount of energy and enthusiasm to this because I want them to have a good experience still. I don't want to be like, oh, I saw this already. Can y'all hurry up? That's not the mood I was trying to give them, but I'm already knowing at this point, I'm 2 hours past my threshold. Finally, we're in the last house of 3 that we've looked at, and it's lovely. I've had a good time. We talked, you know, looked around, looked at things I've already said, like, oh yeah, that's nice. And like the same responses that I had yesterday, I had today. And I watched them play an air hockey game on like the stage air hockey table, just things that I'm like, I know I am spent, but I'm going to tap in and I'm going to watch them play all 10 rounds because they're having a good time and I want them to be happy. And then there were pictures at the end. Let's take some pictures. And I was like, cool. Right here is a great spot. You know, I'm really trying to be tapped in. And finally at the end, I was smiling, but I was like, can't. I don't have anymore. Let's go. Let's go. And I was still trying to say it nicely, but it's crazy because these are things I'm still trying to figure out how to manage. And it's not just my family, it's with people. And so I have this tension where I'm like, I'm so like in my head about still just wanting to be nice. And then even after all that, like people will not know that I have already reached my threshold like 2-3 hours in advance. And when I get the inkling that they still feel like I was being like impatient or wasn't patient enough or was like rushing them, that like breaks my soul. Cause I'm like, you don't know what that cost me.
Yeah. Man, yeah.
To do this. Jeez. You don't know what it cost me. Like it ate me and I sacrificed. And so that it's like that for me. But I can come home and I can work another 4 hours. I can come home and be like, you know what? I'm about to put this laundry up. I'm going to do another load. I want to clear off some mail from the table. I'm going to come and work on this other project that I have going on. And I can do that by myself and I won't bother anybody. Like, I will not be like, why nobody else cleaning? I'm like, I can really go into that world in that space. And sometimes I need that, but I also need the balance of those cutoffs. So the places where I need to cut off, I don't have the words for because I'm always afraid that I'm going to be perceived as like impatient and all that.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side where I'm like, but I have stuff to do and I need to keep going or I won't sleep good at night.
Yeah. Well, there's a definitely a balance for that. And I think
I need it.
Being able
I need to find it.
Yeah. But also, but also you owe that to yourself to not put yourself even in that position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think, there's a way to, I'm just saying.
I don't know.
There's a,
you know me.
Yeah.
Like, you know me. It's such a struggle.
Yeah. Because I know today when you came home, I was like, no, like, don't mess with none of that. We just need to eat. Like,
and I forgot just that quick. I'm like, I'm still lightheaded. And I was
like, no.
What did I come in and try to do?
Know. Well,
I was like, oh, there's clothes in the dryer.
Yeah, something. No, it wasn't that.
But that was something.
It was something that you were trying to start doing, and I was like, no, you need to eat because I knew you were hungry.
Yes, and
like, that's what we need to focus on right now. Just get you something to eat. Yeah. So I just start pulling out the food and things like that. So
yes, I
had to do it. Yeah,
food was done. We had food to eat.
Yeah.
But if that wasn't, if you're not thinking of the thing I almost took that load of clothes out the laundry.
Either way.
Because I saw some towels and I was like, oh yeah, let me fold these towels real quick. And just that quick, I was like, I forgot that I needed to eat because I was getting lightheaded. And it doesn't happen all the time. But today was just a longer day. The time between us serving and leaving.
And it's crazy.
And I felt so guilty. And I'm like, I don't want to be in a bad mood. But it's like,
but you gotta take care of your needs. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing.
Talk to people.
That's important.
Yeah.
And
because I be having fun.
For sure.
I like what I do,
but I definitely think that that's important. But that's why I was like, man, just get something to eat, and everything else we'll work that out afterwards.
Yeah.
But when it comes to life, I think it's important for us to just pause where we are right now. And that's why I think it's important for us to ask the question, like, are you having fun? Are you enjoying your life right now? And if you're not, what can we do different? If I'm not enjoying my life right now, what can I do to pull something out?
Yes,
some joy
you need to
out
identify.
Of it, and I think ways to do that. Of course, I think we're starting with
something too.
Yeah, I'll pull that up here. Starting with gratefulness, like what are you, what do you have right now? Because a lot of times we can't enjoy life because we're not where we want to be yet. We don't have what we are pursuing yet, and so I can't really stop to enjoy. I can't stop to smell the roses.
You're waiting for the big graduation.
Because, I'm waiting for that big thing instead of acknowledging what I have now. And I think that's important. Right. We did ask earlier to put a few things in the comments of some of the things that bring you joy.
Right.
And so we have here Abby. She her faith and advocacy for SPED, for special education, that brings her joy. Abby, we love you. Thank you.
Yes,
for chiming
those who have special needs. It's you know what, that's a real thing, and we see that a lot in youth ministry as well. Like honing in and recognizing even our children and students that are they're a part of our faith community, and what does that look like in discipling them and making room for them to worship God and to experience the faith community and a relationship with God in a way that feels real and authentic to them. So I can see how that would bring you joy.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And then and then I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so
that's the thing, like just trying to identify, like, what is it for you? Because again, what I hear when I hear Abby say that, because of her heart too, It's what she gives that brings her joy. And sometimes, you know, I think that's the balance too. There's ways that we give that bring us joy. Like it is, it's a blessing to give more than it is to receive. But then what do we give to ourselves that brings us joy? And identifying that, because that was the question. I think it wasn't even too long ago. You asked me, you said, Couture, what are your hobbies in this season? And I looked right at him and I was like, this makes me sad. I said, because I haven't explored them in such a long time, but I do have things that I enjoy. Like he knows, like I love painting. I read all the time, even if it's Audible. Like, and I'll sit, and when I do Audible, I'm still an active listener. Like I'm not just an Audible reader. Like, you know, I take notes, I put things into practice. I'm like, I enjoy reading and getting all that. So, and cooking and all that stuff. But, you know, I think not planning for that fun, not planning intentionally for that fun, like you mentioned earlier, I think sometimes will cause you to overlook it because something else will always come to fill in your time. So identifying what brings you joy so that you can have some fun, but then also planning to experience that fun is important.
Yeah, that's true. Because things that are not necessarily fun always seems like that they're more important. You know what I mean? Things that are not necessarily fun, like work and responsibilities and, things that we have to do, which is important, but it seems like that stuff is way more important than us taking a moment to enjoy life or to have some fun. And I think that fun and laughing and, enjoying life is high on the needs list when it comes to, what we need as human beings. Like we need to be able to step away from the pressures and work and all those things like that to just say, hey, let me enjoy something right now. Let me enjoy myself. Let me take a break, whether it's rest. Sometimes look, it's okay to look, if your hobby is just taking a nap and getting you some rest whenever you
it's true.
It ain't, because sometimes you can still get your 6-7 hours of sleep or whatever that is, and then still like, hey, I still want me a nap though. I still like me a good old nap, or whatever. But
whatever you need,
whatever that is. But taking the time to think about what you enjoy aside from work, and sometimes like I enjoy what I get to do as far as work wise, as far as working, as a youth pastor. I love that. As a restorative practitioner, what I get to do as a consultant and education, I absolutely love what I get to do, building relationships and partnering with educators and students, and really leaning into that. I enjoy that. So it's not necessarily work to me, but at the same time, there's a difference between doing that and what we give, what we pour out to what I'm getting and giving myself in those moments of what I'm taking in, whether it's a movie with my family and we're laughing together, or I'm playing a video game and I'm, having fun doing that, or I'm making music, or I'm building model cars, or whatever that is. That's more something that's more fulfilling for me. That's no pressure at all. It's just like, man, like I'm enjoying this apart from me working. So it's important for us to find out what those things are, what we enjoy. Some of those activities.
And I think just having a culture of like enjoyment is, like Chris said, like food and sleep. I mean, I think it's different for everybody, and you just identifying what that is. So I don't want to be redundant and run that into the ground, but I think identifying that, but just having a culture in your environment of fun and joy, because there's not a day that goes by in the Boston household where we are not meeting and gathering in our living room or kitchen area, which is kind of open. It's an open floor plan, where we're not hanging out and convening there, laughing or joking or being ridiculous, or just doing something silly together, making each other laugh. And it just becomes a thing that we don't plan for, but it's a part of the culture in our house. Like we know when we get together, if we're all in the same room, or any number of us are in the same room for 5 minutes, some jokes are about to go down. Like no matter what, like we are roasting, we are talking about something, we're sharing videos. We have a family group chat with us and our kids, our 4 of our kids. We are consistently and constantly sharing videos and like laughing, or we video each other doing stuff. And I'm like, y'all get y'all's daddy, like he'll be doing something silly, or they'll find videos of each other, and they'll send it to the group, and we're like laughing or reminiscing or just remembering. And so I think even that, just having an intentional culture of having fun, because there's a lot of things that are going on, like serious questions, about like what brings you joy. Because if we asked right now, what breaks your heart? What has you sad in this season? What is causing you some depression? What is something that is happening to you that's stressing you out, that is beyond your control right now? What is a tension that you're being asked to manage in this season? You could think of that, but let somebody ask you what brings you joy. It's like we do kind of have to think about it. Whereas the other question, what is causing you pain or stress? Really, the thing that would take you the longest time to articulate is whether or not you want to share it.
True.
But you could easily think of something that is the opposite of joy and the opposite of fun. And so that's kind of what our challenge is right now in this season. It's just making time for that. And so the reason why we're talking about it now in this season, because as we come to the end of the year, what normally happens is that even though there's anticipation and there's excitement for the holidays and whatever that means, for some people, that's a time of joy and togetherness and laughter and food and fellowship and travel, all of those kinds of things. And for some people, it can feel like something else.
Right.
If you don't have great relationships and great connections, or you are dealing with grief and loss
that's a big
in this season, this season represents something different for you. If this is a season that reminds you of something really important or really impactful that happened to you, this season might trigger you in a different way, where other people might be triggered in a joyful way. And the other thing is that, let's just be honest, like our years seem to be flying by a little bit more quickly. And so most of us are, if we really pause, we're like, man, we're really in November of 2023.
Yeah.
It seems like we just got here. You can almost remember what spring of this year was like, and what you were doing in the spring. And then it's like, fast forward, we're at the end of the year, and you're thinking about the things that you wanted to do, the things you thought you would do, the things that you did do, how maybe exhausted you are because you've been living life for the last 10 months of this year. And usually when a new year is getting ready to approach, some of that anticipation is that I want next year to be better. I want next year to be better. I want next year to be better. And that's another tension that we deal with. And sometimes we miss moments of joy right while we're in a season, because it's so hard to get our minds out of what did not happen before now, and what we're looking towards, and what wasn't accomplished. And we just want to challenge you, if you're going to be thinking of anything in this season, in this time, pause and ask yourself, what brings me joy? What are things that don't bring me joy, that have been stifling my joy and my growth, have caused me to like forget to be grateful and to show gratitude? We're teaching our kids that in children's ministry this month. It's all about gratitude, and all things give thanks, to the Lord in every circumstance. And just keeping those things in mind, like, are we even able to find the joy and the gratitude and just the goodness of God, the blessing of God, no matter what's gone on? And then making an intentional effort to say, I'm going to choose joy. I'm going to choose to do things that make me smile, that make me laugh, that are fun. Because you're going to keep on living, right? If God spares, as long as he spares, you're going to keep on living. But where do you insert fun? Or do you just allow life to just happen to you without any of your input?
Because it will.
Yes.
It definitely will. And
you better know it.
Yeah, I think, man, that's so good. That's so good that you hit on all of that.
Keedren.
No, for sure.
It's a seat.
For sure. This is important.
Pie.
No, I love it. So Chris is my cousin. Love you, man. Family time is very important.
Yes.
Yeah. And even speaking of this right here, man, time is passing by regardless of whether we're going to work or whether we're enjoying ourselves or not. and we can never, and I know, I've said this before, we said this before.
Yeah.
And I'll put it like this, because I haven't said it like this,
Yeah.
in a while, but time is measured in two ways, right? Chronos, which is minutes, and Kairos, which is moments, right? And so we can always, we don't know how many more minutes we have left in life, and we can't make any more minutes, right? There are so many minutes that have already passed in our lives up until this point. You can do the math. We don't know how many more minutes are left, and we can't make any more minutes, but we can always make new moments, right? We can always make new moments. That's what we can do. And so as we recognize right now where we're at and what's happening, what's good in our lives, maybe not so good. I think first and foremost, and I was talking to, my students about this today, it's for us to cast our cares, like give our cares to God, because he cares for us. We might be carrying a lot, but God cares a lot. Like he cares a lot
that's
more.
So good.
And so it's important for us to recognize that and to lean into that. But don't think that it's, how can I put this? It's okay to get away. And the getaway is not always going on vacation. It might just be like, let me just take a break. I need an hour where I'm not answering no calls, no text messages.
I was just curious. That's the first way.
You know what I'm saying? Like little by little. Yeah, just say, look,
Some people use that as their escape. Like we use sometimes social media, like this is my downtime. And sometimes, honestly, for all the input that you could take in, like you can end up with so much stimulation.
Yeah.
Just from being mindless and scrolling. You need to get away from that too sometimes and just really like say, I need some clarity.
Yeah. No, that's real. The youth call it doom scrolling.
Yeah,
because it's like I'm just going down these paths, and sometimes it's in comparison, right? Because if we're working in a certain field and we're comparing ourselves to what other people are doing, whether it's parenting, whether it's relationships, we got all these lists and stuff going on. We see these situations with these, I'm not just men are doing crazy stuff too, but the ladies that are putting their husbands on blast and all this kind of stuff like that.
We don't even have
and it's just like so much that we consume. And then I'm like, okay, well, is this right? Should I do this? Maybe I should analyze my life in that way and start. And it turns into something else, so you're right, sometimes, digging into that and, and leaning even into social media, because, some, like you say, that can be some people's outlet to just, man, let me just, I want to laugh, and you're scrolling and consuming. And sometimes that is dooming too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
and
is.
So just put it all down, finding some kind of way to say, man, let me just take an hour to just, whether I'm taking a nap, whether I go take a walk, whether I just do something different. It's going to be okay. Nothing will fall apart if you take time to, because you will if you don't do that.
Oh, that's good.
You will crumble if you don't take time to take care of yourself and have a moment to refresh and relax. You know what I mean? That's important.
Yes.
Let me look at this real quick. It's okay to have you time along the way from everything. Plus, it's a good time to build your relationship with God. That's real, man.
We agree.
Totally agree with that. Yeah. Totally agree with that. That's important. That's important for us to understand.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad as a man you have said that, because sometimes the mentality of most men who were raised like, to work, getting rest is just a foreign concept. And I know that I watched my grandfathers, one of my grandfathers, and then one of my great grandfathers just kind of work until they died. And they were great men, great providers, but I don't know what they liked. Like my grandpa on my dad's side, he went to work at 5 a.m. every morning. He was home by 6 p.m. every night. And he did the same thing every day when I lived with him. I knew what he was going to do when he walked in. He was going to walk straight in, take his shoes off at the door, go kiss my grandma, go straight to the back, take a shower. She was going to fix his plate. He was going to sit in the same spot at the dining table. Then he was going to go sit in the same chair, you know, in the living room. And he was going to smoke 2 cigarettes before he, and maybe drink a beer if it was a weekend, before he just got up from that couch and then went to go get in his bed. That was his pattern. That was his routine. And he did that literally from the time I was a child and before then until the day he died. I don't know if he got to like go to beautiful places and see things outside of his neighborhood because he had a routine, and there was nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But I would have loved for him to have had the opportunity to retire and say, you know, we're going to go down to the beach, or we're going to make some time and I'm going fishing, you know, different things like that. So when you think about life, and it was the same thing with my great grandpa, he had a routine. I spent a lot of time with him too. I spent a lot of time with, you know, my grandparents and great grandparents and great aunts and things like that growing up. I was very much a part of a village, a generational village, but just seeing people just work. The one thing that I learned from my aunts is that you need to travel and that you need you need to be able to travel, go out to eat, even if you're spending time alone, you know, put things around you that you like. Don't save all your good clothes for a special occasion. Being alive, every day that you're alive is an occasion. You know, you don't have to wait for that. Don't ever, like, they taught me this. Like, I don't know what list this is on. It's probably what makes somebody's list, but like not going out of the house, not dressed, you know, well, because you don't know that you're just going to the grocery store. You could end up needing to stop here or stuff. Just how you present yourself every day that you're alive and leaving your home. That is an event. That is an occasion. And some people would call it not special or special, but you know, that was their motto. That was their take on life. And so I don't know if it had anything to do with, you know, seeing the generation before them not enjoy, but it's definitely left some, you know, some impact on me. I'm still a very hard worker, like my family, like just, I think genetically hard work is in my DNA, and I don't try to work hard. I try to work efficiently. And I think I've nailed that down too for my generation. Y'all welcome. But I still always have a lot of things going on. And so what I'm learning really in this season is how to pick my spots and pause. But I enjoy being productive. I just enjoy being productive. And if I'm not doing something, even in my downtime that I feel is like productive, then I'll find work to do because I just need to do something productive. But I get to travel this week with my husband again. And, you know, I love that. That is like our downtime. It's time that we really enjoy. And I'm really grateful, right? Whether we're going near or far, I'm grateful that we have the kind of relationship that he prioritizes quality time with me, and that I know how to pull away. Like the minute he says he wants to do something, my mind blanks out of anything else that I plan on doing. It's just when I'm idle and I don't have anything else in mind to do, my hands will always find something to do. If I'm awake, my hands always find something else to do. But what I love about him is that he appreciates our relationship, and I can tell that he's grateful for it because he does make very intentional moves to make sure that we do other things and that we, you know, we do break off. And it's lovely because our kids are older now too, but he's really always been this way. Even when our kids were little, he said, well, they all coming to the restaurant because I'm taking you out to eat.
Right.
You know, our kids have been knowing about steak and crab and shrimp and stuff since they were 3 and 4 years old. Because if that's what I wanted to eat, that's where we were all going. So, thanks.
No, of course. No, that's because here's the thing, like we have to. I can't say it enough. Like we work hard. And first of all, we've been parents for a long time.
We've been parents for a long time.
We just turned 40 this year, and our oldest son is 24 years old. So you can already do the math with that.
And we have
a 21-year-old daughter, 15-year-old son, 12-year-old daughter. It's a lot of
kids.
very dope kids. That's a lot of years in parenting though.
Yes.
And we can add what we like to do is add all those ages up and say that's how many years of parenting that we have, because each one of those kids are different, and each year for they tell has been different, and it continues to change and continue to have different needs, whether they live with us or not. And so we work hard. We've spent a great deal of our life in school, working to have a better life and to continue to have a better life. And so that's not a bad thing, but it's important to also recognize that we need breaks and we need to have some fun.
That's right.
I love to laugh, love to be silly, but we work. Yeah. It's that saying that I love. You work hard, you play hard.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it is important sometimes to just say, look, no, we're going to take a break. We're going to get away. And we actually need to do more of that. And we will be doing more of that.
Yes. Our 2024 calendar is going to be even more intentional.
Yeah.
Because we did a good job this year. We were more intentional this year than last year.
Yeah.
And so next year, the same. So we are a work in progress.
For sure.
But we understand the value and the importance of it.
Yeah.
Because like you said, we don't know how many more minutes we have, but we do need to capitalize on making as many moments and memories as we can.
Yeah.
And I think that is worth being intentional about, because the truth is your time is your life.
Yeah, that's real.
And yes, in most cases, we exchange our time for money, which means we're exchanging our life for money.
Right.
Yeah. And your life is worth more than money.
For sure.
Your life and the lives of the lives of your loved ones and the people that you enjoy being around is worth more than money. Because if you had to choose, if you I forgot who did this, but someone asked the question, if you could be a millionaire today, would you choose to be a millionaire? And they said yes, and said, okay, but all you would have to do is give up your mom. Would you still want that $1 million? And they said no. Well, then money is not the most important thing to you. That relationship is.
Right.
So how do you move differently once you've identified what really matters to you? And that's really where finding the joy comes in.
Yeah.
What really matters to you, not what pays you the most, not what pays your bills, not what sustains your livelihood, but what is the thing that feeds your life, what feeds your soul. And good. It's our relationship with God and our relationship with the people that he gave us.
Yeah.
And so how we, and even us, because being a good steward of ourselves is just as important as the relationships that we are called to steward. If we go into scripture, my body is a temple of God. My life is not my own. It belongs to him. So stewarding myself means I do need to be mindful about what I eat. I'm going to tell you, and I say this all the time, every time we talk about health, is that some things really do require discipline when you're talking about stewarding anything, stewarding your finances, stewarding your home, stewarding the children that God gave you, stewarding your own health and well-being. It takes discipline. There are things that you want to do that you should not do. There are things that you don't do that you should do. There are things that you shouldn't eat that you do eat. There are things that you should eat that you don't eat.
Right.
This is about discipline. And that is stewardship, and it improves the quality of that life and the time that you get to spend making memories and having moments with your loved ones. So if things like that really matter to you, I think it's time, and most of us and most of our listeners know we're in a season of our life where we have to start moving differently. What we say is important to us, it needs to be evident by how we move, the decisions that we make, the actions that we take. And so I think for the season that we're in, that's the vein we're plugged into right now. If this is what I say I want, what am I willing to do to get it? Because you can't just have whatever you want. You can't just pray that hard, oh, I want this. I can't just wish for this. I can't just desire it just because I want it, I'm going to get it. No, there's an action. There's a corresponding action to that. You want better health, eat better food.
Yeah.
Do better with your physical activity. Do better with those things, because the truth is, you don't really want it until you're willing to do something for it.
Right.
It takes investment. My husband could never have told me, I really want you to be my wife, but then chose to never marry me.
Right.
There's no way, after a certain amount of time, I would not have believed him. There's no way this is what you want, but you won't actually make me your wife.
Yeah.
So it's if you really want what you're seeking, move according to that. It's in you because of the desire for whatever that is. If it's already in you, if what matters to you is already in your heart, and God has already stirred it up inside of you, like getting your attention for it, that means that you are capable of achieving it if you're willing to do what it takes to lay hold to it. So I think that's another one of the challenges. I didn't know that was going to be a challenge, but sometimes I get on my rant about how our behavior corresponds to the things that we say we want. And just like Keedren asked me early on, is how important is it to plan for your fun? How important is it to plan? If you say you want to eat better, then plan to eat better. Your next grocery trip should reflect that. The next time you pull through a drive-through, it should reflect that. What are you going to put your money into? You know, everything bad that you eat, guess what? Nobody forces it down your throat.
No.
You actually pay your money for the time you trade it for your life. And it's going to end up costing you twice.
Sheesh.
It's going to end up costing you twice, fam. So all that to say, if it's in your heart, if it's on your mind, for some of you, this is your sign right now. This is your moment. This is just confirmation to you that whatever you've been dragging your feet on, if you know you've been needing that vacation, you've wanted that vacation with your family, plan for it.
Yeah.
What do you need to give up that's been nickel and diming you? I think you said that today. He was like, there are really things that media has shown to us in America that has really nickeled and dimed us out of our money. And we need to just think differently about what we're willing to invest in.
Yeah.
Think about those things. I was thinking this morning on the ride to church, I kid you not, did not know we were going to have this talk tonight, but I was thinking and I said, you know what? Every time I said, what if every time I thought about ordering something off Amazon, I put that same amount of whatever that item was into one of our brokerage accounts? What if I said, oh, it's just $19.99. It'll come out to $24.99. What if I said, you know what? Since I'm in the mood to exchange money for something, why don't I put it somewhere where it's really going to benefit me in the long run? If I say financial health and wealth and, in our long run is important, what if I just traded that? I wonder how that would feel because I've never done it. And it was just a thought.
Yeah.
I didn't even say it out loud. I was like, that thing that's like, oh, it's only $8. If I can really live without it, what if I just threw that $8 into that account? What if $8, $25, $7? What if I just did that? So that's just one of my strategies, just thinking about it. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. And that goes back to being intentional and finding those ways, especially if you want to get out and get away, to go do something vacation wise or just having some fun, right?
Yeah.
But then that there are things that are free. There are parks that we can go to. There are different places and events.
Oh yeah.
In your city
that are free or inexpensive.
Yeah. To just get out and shoot. Whether you're taking a walk, whether you're taking a ride.
Absolutely.
Just say, I just want to
don't sleep on it.
Yeah, just take a ride. And enjoy the sights. The key is to definitely seek joy in the right places, though. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because sometimes we can find fun and joy in places that are not good for us and things that's not good for us. You know what I mean? Some things can be unhealthy, especially if I'm just, eating unhealthy because I'm overindulging in that way. Or I'm taking part of something that is fun, but it's not healthy for me to do. Yeah. It's not wholesome, so I feel like that's important too. Like find joy in the right places.
Yes.
Not just any kind of
and y'all kind of know that about us, right? Like y'all know we don't mean go out there and be reckless.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, saints? Okay.
Yeah, but it's important. It's important to I think
about that.
Yeah, to just be reminded of that, and be mindful of that, but also just be intentional about your time and the moments that you spend and the moments that you make. Make new moments. Don't have to cost anything. If you're able to do that, and that's in your wheelhouse to be able to get away and to do that, you just hadn't prioritized that.
Yeah.
Look at your schedule. look at the times that you don't have anything planned. Nobody has
Right.
booked you for anything. There's no deadlines, no projects, or
Right. No exams. Abby was talking about an exam.
programs.
No,
Yeah.
no test to take.
Yeah. Look ahead, look
Yeah.
ahead in your schedule and see what you can do, what days that you can take to just relax and enjoy
Yeah.
yourself. I would even think about it weekly. What does your weeks look like? Is there any
Yes.
day in the week where it's less, it's not as busy?
Yeah.
And you
We
can
have
just
some
say,
days like that we look
yeah,
forward to.
and you can just say, hey, this is my day,
We chilling or we doing
and
whatever.
this is what it is, for us, I'm not ashamed to say it. Mondays are days that we're not doing a lot of stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not planning to go nowhere, to do nothing. No, that's a blackout day for the most part.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Sunday, are our days where it's probably they're going to be long days for us. So Monday
Yeah.
we rest and we take our time to.
And we're so grateful to have.
So
that.
grateful to have that. So grateful to have that. But
Sunday's a day of rest for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, and for us, it's a day of like really intense.
Yeah, we're serving. We're serving,
and we love it.
Yeah.
But the rest does help us recenter, and having a day of rest is truly a gift from God.
Sure. So find that whatever your week looks like, whatever that day is. It may be Tuesday, it may be Friday for you. Make sure that you look in your schedule and say this is a time, and it might not be a day. It may be a certain period. I would just encourage you to just look ahead over the next week or so and see where you can make some time to just unwind, relax. And if you can do that on a consistent basis, for one, for us, it is important to have Sabbath. And that's something
and
that
we make breakfast
being honest,
together on those days.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I look forward to that.
But even in that aspect, being honest, trying to make sure that we prioritize, a day of rest. Yeah. I know that it's hard to say, what I'm saying, especially, here in Western culture, you work. Most of us kind of know we don't really work on Sundays. I'm trying to work on Sunday, whether you go to church or not.
Yeah. But there are people who still need.
There are people who need to work on Sundays, but we know that there's days that we like. Okay, I don't work on this day. I think that if you can do that, just little by little, if there's moments that you can black out and say, I'm not doing nothing. I'm going to do what I enjoy in this time. I know my cousin Chris, is a chef. And he cooks and
great chef.
Yeah, great chef. We go in, man.
Good on Sundays. Every day. Every day
sure.
Cooking, it's gonna be good.
But taking time to say this is where I'm going to work on, something that I love to add value to me, because I know you all are adding value to other people in their lives. And it's hard to you can't pour out what you don't have. You know what I mean? And so as we, one of the things that I love about, our church is we have opportunities to learn and get poured into. And our pastors, of course, bring the word, but also bringing other leaders in that will pour into us as well as we continue to pour and we lead. But then also personally, we have our times that we learn, and there are books and stuff that we read. I want to share. We'll share some of those. We'll put those in the group. I want to do that anyway. Some of the books that we've read this year. Just to kind of help and
building, building your library, building your knowledge base, and just having some good literature that help provoke some thought.
For sure.
As you go into this next season. So, I think that's a great idea. For
sure. But we just want to encourage y'all to have some fun. Be intentional about that, and we'll continue the conversation, kind of break some things down. I think one of the next things I want us to talk about are some of the hobbies and activities and things like that we could do. I really want to lean into that a little bit. I think that'll be cool. But we'll see. I think for now, check out your schedule. See if there's a day during the week or moments where you can just say, hey, this is where I'm going to do what I love. This is where I'm going to check out my show. I'm going to, do whatever it is that I love. If I'm going to paint, I'm going to go to Hobby Lobby or Walmart and get me a little canvas. And on Tuesday, this is what I'm doing. You know, I'm not working. I'm not filling up that time with anything else but what I enjoy doing. I'm reading. I'm spending quality time with myself or with my family, and I think that right there will be a good start when it comes to just establishing some boundaries for your fun and activities to enjoy life. You know, but yeah, think about that. Think about
For
that,
sure.
and kind of go from there. You have anything to add to that?
No, I think you tied a bow on that.
Yeah.
I think hopefully that message was clear, you know, and that's why we titled this serious question. Are you having fun? Are you enjoying life?
Yeah.
Because God came that we might have life and life more abundantly. And it doesn't just mean money.
Right.
He wants us to be in health. He wants us to have joy and experience great relationships. Even as we serve him.
Yeah.
So the best way to live a fulfilled life is to live one of obedience and according with God. Y'all know how we feel. We love God's word.
Yeah.
We love God's people, and that's why we do what we do. We love you guys, and we love the community that we have built. So if you are watching from our YouTube page, Talking with the Bostons, or our personal Facebook pages, thank you for tuning in once again this week for this conversation. We'll be doing another poll soon because we want to have some fun. Most of you have noticed that we have definitely covered a lot of the topics that we gathered from the first post. But, you know, we like talking about things that we're not really looking for a lot of topics. Because we like to unpack things. We like to take our time with them. That's really how we have conversations. And our channel is called Talking with the Bostons for a reason. Yeah. These are things that really matter to us and things that we're talking about. And we enjoy talking about them with you all. So you know that you're getting authentic conversation. For sure. So definitely. Abby, we love you and miss you too. And we definitely want to see you soon. Yeah. We will make a point to stay in contact with you so that if we're in San Antonio area, we can set something up to arrange. And even if we can just see you for coffee or pop by, or someone's church is having something you're going to be at, maybe we can just find ourselves at the same place at the same time. That would be dope. For sure. For sure. Thank y'all for tuning in. And Chris, man, just want to encourage you, brother, just to continue to pursue your passion, continue to be intentional about parenting. You know, I know you love your sons. You love your children, man. So continue to be intentional as a father. To the best of your ability. You know, I know you shared how you used to. It used to be about work and how that can impact your relationships in many ways. You know, we've all been there. We've definitely been there. You know, and the cool thing is, the great thing is that we acknowledge that and we recognize that. Bless you. Bless you. Recognize that so that we can work on whatever we need to improve those relationships. As I said, we cannot make any more minutes and we can't get any minutes back, but we can always make new moments. And so let's make new moments and be intentional about it. Have some fun, enjoy your life. If you're not, figure out a way to add some joy to your life by doing what you love. And if you're not following us on Talking with the Bostons, if you're watching from YouTube, Talking with the Bostons is our exclusive Facebook group. And so we would love for you to join us in that community. We stream live from all 3 platforms. Our personal Facebook pages, our Talking with the Bostons Facebook group, and YouTube. So eventually we're going to move to Instagram as well. So y'all stay tuned for that. You just never know what's coming. Eventually, a lot of this stuff will be podcast material. So just giving you a sneak peek into where this is going. But we have a lot of great new topics coming up. You know, we're going to end the year with a bang, and we're coming in even stronger than before because y'all have shown up, because you have chimed in, you jumped in these comments, you've engaged in these conversations with us. We have some great stuff coming. So we look forward to 2024 with you all, but it ain't over till it's over. All we have is these moments. So you can find us back here live on Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central. That's 7 p.m. Central. We're in Texas, y'all, so you have to adjust your time accordingly.
Yeah.
And make sure that you're able to catch us. But if not, and you're watching this on replay, thank you for watching this on replay. Thank you for sharing the link with your friends and family. And thank you for tagging people that you think would enjoy our content. We appreciate you speaking to the algorithm on our behalf by doing so.
For sure.
So we hope that you will actually like this video. Even if you've commented, please go back and like videos. We'll check out some of your comments later on. Y'all know how we do. But in the meantime, and until next time, we love you. And this has been Talking with the Bostons.
For sure.
Bye, friends. I love y'all too.
For real. What's up, Troy? Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, we'll see y'all. Hey, wait, before we go, if you're watching on Facebook, go subscribe to our YouTube page. You can continue watching Facebook if you like to.
Yes, but subscribe.
Just make sure you subscribe. We definitely would appreciate it.
We're throwing a party when we get 500. We're at 400 or something. We are throwing a party up in here when we get to 500. Help us get to 500.
Straight up.
So Troy, run over there real quick. That's his name, Troy?
Yeah, Troy. Yeah.
All right.
Troy, he's watching from YouTube, so we appreciate it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Good to see you, Troy. We're gonna talk soon, brother. All right, now. Love y'all. And we'll see y'all
next time. Next Sunday, 7 p.m. Central Time.
That's right.
All right. Texas out.